Okay. So yeah, in today's session, we'll just look at like what are the things or what are the things that we'll be covering as part of the training. We'll just have an overview so that you guys have an awareness. Like, okay, going forward, like once we finish the training, what are things would be the takeaway? Okay. So we'll first see like what would be the modules that we'll be covering as part of the session. Then we'll have an overview of this application, like basically like what is this call center, who is using this call center, those kind of details. Okay, and then we'll jump on to like how to set it up, how to set up this base application in our system. Okay, and then we'll also see like how to create a policy, how to create an account, what is the code, those kind of details. Okay, so these are few things that we'll be seeing today. Okay, so jumping on to the first one, okay, which is like Guidewire products. Okay, just a second. Okay, so now, as we know, right, Guidewire, it's basically a core insurance tool that we know, right? So everybody, so here we have this Guidewire application will be used by the insurance companies. So here the client would be the insurance companies. Okay, it's not like the end user like you, me, and all. It would be the insurance companies who will be using this Guidewire products. Okay, now there are mainly three applications that we have in Guidewire. Okay, one we have a policy center, one we have a claim center, one we have billing center. Okay, so any guesses you have, like what all things would be done in policy center, like who will be using it? Any random guesses? Anybody can answer? Yes, so who might, what can be this policy center? As the name says, what can be this one? Who will be using?
It has all the policy information in Policy Center.
Exactly. Yes, yes, yes. So, yes, Abhisha. So, in that way, like it is through this policy center will be used by the underwriters. Okay, so underwriters are the people who will be responsible for creating the policy. So, let's say I go to a insurance company, okay, and then I'll ask like, okay, boss, I need to take a policy for my car, okay. Now, who will be deciding what are the coverages should be there in that policy? So, like whenever I'm taking a policy, right, I'll tell, okay, fine, it should cover my collision coverages. It should be B2B. It should have a coverage for my engine. It should have a exterior body. It should have like interior music system, everything. So these are all the coverages, okay, that would be added to the policy. Then we have like collision coverage, comprehensive coverage, towing coverage, rental coverage, medical coverage. Like there are n number of coverages that we have. So yeah, all these coverages will be grouped as different products. Okay. So all this decision will be done by this underwriter. So they are the one who will be creating these products on behalf of the insurance company. These are called the underwriters. Okay. So they are the one who will be mainly using this call center. Along with that, we have like insurance agents who will be using this policy, or like all those policy related stuff will be done using policy center, creating policy, modifying, renewing, canceling, all those policy related stuff. Okay, then we have a claim center. Okay, so let's say I've taken a policy, okay, and then like let's say due to some issue, like my car met with an accident, okay, and then I need to go for a claim for the policy that I've taken. So what I'll do, I'll just call up the insurance company, and someone from the insurance company, someone like claims adjuster, would pick up the call. Okay, and they'll ask the details. Okay, like what happened, basically like where the incident occurred, where is your loss location, what are the damages that has been occurred to your car. So those kind of questions. Okay, and those things would be recorded in this claim center. That's what this claim center is being used for. Okay, it is mainly used by the claims adjusters. Okay, finally we have a billing center. Billing center is the application which will be used mainly for all the billing related stuff, like, okay, so all the billing related stuff, when I say like billing the policy holders or giving commission to the insurance agents who has referred us to the insurance company, all those stuff, all those sending invoice to the customers. Okay, all those billing related stuff would be done using billing center. Okay, so these are three main applications that we have. Okay, policy center, claim center, billing center. Okay, these thing application constitute insurance suite. Okay, so Guidewire insurance suite, when we say, these are the three applications that we have. Okay, now under this we'll be mainly talking first on the policy center application. Okay, so policy center, as you can see here, this it's basically a browser based application. Okay, so browser based application means it is through the browser is what I'll be navigating through. Okay, it is, I'll be using this browser. I can use any browser. We don't have any this one. I can use any browser. It is through the browser is what I'll be navigating through. Okay, and these are different users who will be using this call center application. Okay, so producer is one type of user who will be using this. Okay, so any guesses like what can be this producer? Who will be the producer, or what is the job of a producer? Anyone? Any guesses? What when we say
Arun, the
producer?
producer is one who brings business to the
Exactly.
organization or to insurance companies.
Yes, Ritik. So yeah, correct. So producer means like, as a layman term, it's basically insurance agents, right? So they are the people who will be selling the insurance on behalf of the insurance company, right? So producer means producing income to the company. So that's what producers. So those are the one will be referring the accounts to the insurance company. Okay. Now here when I say account is nothing but the person who is taking the policy. Okay. Carrier means insurance companies. So insurance companies are called the carrier. Okay, account is nothing but the people who is taking the policy. Okay, that's what. And so bringing referring the account to the insurance company is what the producers do. And then underwriter, we have already seen they are the one who will be creating and managing the policies. Okay, and then we have supervisors. Supervisors are the people who will be supervising the work. Okay, like assigning different jobs to different members within the team, or assigning like activities, all those assignment, creating roles, setting permissions to different users, all those stuff, supervising the whole thing would be done by the supervisor. Okay, so these are three main users who will be using this, as you can see with the image itself, right? Producers, underwriter, and the supervisor. Okay, so any doubts still here? Any doubts or queries till now? Anybody? No.
Clear.
No.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, feel free to ask. Any small doubt should be fine. Okay, you can ask me anything. Okay, so coming to the function module. So now when we say policy, right? So these are different transactions that we have in not only in policy center, any policy system that you take. Okay, so this policy system means so we'll tell it as PAS systems. PAS system. PAS means policy admin system. Okay, so we have many PAS systems. One of the PAS system is policy center. Similar to that, we have PAS system in mainframe, we have in .NET, Java, different systems. We have Duck Creek, we have like products by Oracle, or different systems we have. Okay, different PAS systems. Out of that, one of the PAS system is, or the most commonly used or most predominantly used PAS system is Guidewire Policy Center. Okay, so now these are different transactions that we have in this PAS system. Okay, or like these are commonly used transactions that we have in any PAS systems. Okay, this is what the names that we'll be using in this call center. Okay, so submission again. Right now, by the names, the submission is the place. So today we'll be looking at how to create a policy. In the coming slides, we'll be looking at how to create a policy, how to create an account, those kind of thing. Okay, and in the coming days, we'll be looking at how other transactions are being created. Okay, what is a policy change? Okay, so any guesses like what can be the policy change? So when we say policy change, okay, what it would be? Anyone?
Adding coverages.
Adding cover. Not only coverages, it can be anything. Modifying anything to the policy would be policy change. Let's say adding coverages is one example. Then what? Then any other examples? Policy change, what it can be.
Changing effective date, rewrite.
Okay. Effective date, instead of that, we can tell it as expiry date, or maybe some changes to the policy is what we can say. Okay, that would be more
Adding
correct.
new vehicle.
Exactly. That
Adding
is
new person.
exactly. So adding new vehicle, adding new driver to the vehicle, modifying the coverages. These are all comes under policy change. Okay, then we have renewals. Renewal in the sense I'm renewing this policy for another term. Let's say policy is about to expire. Okay, it's an annual. Now policies can be of different terms. Okay, it can be an annual policy, it can be half yearly policy, it can be quarterly policy. Okay, all those things, right? So those kind of way. So renewal means once the policy is about to expire, we'll renew it for another term. Okay, so that's what renewals. Okay, then we have cancellation. Cancellation means before the expiry of the policy. Okay, let's say I need to cancel the policy. I just got a better quote from somewhere else, or let's say the insured has, or the account holder has not paid any due premiums, so they can be cancelled it. So either cancellation can be initiated by the insurance companies, or it can be by the insured as well, or the account holder. Okay, so we have cancellation, then we have reinstatement. Once we cancel it, I need to resume it. We'll turn it as reinstatement. Then we have rewrite. Again, we'll go through each and every transaction in detail. This is just an overview I'm giving. Okay, so today we'll be mainly looking at the submission transaction. Okay. Now, once we cover everything, you get to know, okay, what this web-like structure is. You can see many arrows and bi-direction arrows, some single arrows, everything. You'll get to know. Okay, once we create this, you'll see like what are different transactions we have up. Okay. Then we have something called product design as well. Okay, so that this is a tool that comes with this policy center. So let me just show you that as well. 1 second. Okay, product designer. Let me just take it out. Okay, so product designer is nothing but the main product model changes. Okay, again, we'll have a separate session in detail on product designer. But again, to give you a high level, product design is the one which would be used to modify the product model. Okay, so when I say product model, it is like adding a new product. Okay? Adding a new product in the sense like we have personal auto, we have commercial auto, we have business owner, we have home owner, we have okay, let me just show you. GW. So just okay. So let's say okay. So now you can see this is how a product designer looks like. Okay, this is another application which comes with the policy center application. So it is from here. So when we say products, right? So these are the different products that we have, like business owner, commercial auto, package, homeowner, all those things, personal auto. These are different products we'll sell. Okay, each and every product will have, so these products comes with the base application. So these are all the products that comes with this call center application. Okay, now we do have an option to delete this. We can even add new products. Everything can be done from here, from this product design. Okay, so let's say for example, if I open personal auto, okay, and within that if I go to policy line, if you go to coverages, you can see all these things we are adding up from here. Collision coverage, medical payment. Okay, again, we'll discuss in detail like what are common types of coverages we have. Okay, what are these coverage, medical, what is collision, towing, rental, all those things we'll be discussing going forward. But yeah, it is from here is what we'll be adding up a new coverage. I'll also show you how to add a new coverage and all in the coming days. Okay, so all these things would be done using this product design. Okay, so it will be used mainly by the business users because like the underwriters or the main business people, they are the one who will be using this product designer. Okay, so now let's say for example okay, let me just check on this. So this will be mainly used by the non-developers. Okay, so the people who will be like mainly from the business side or the underwriters you can say, so they are the one who will be using this product designer. Okay, so this is how this look and feel would be of the product designer. Okay, so, okay, so these are few things that would be covering as part of the function side of the application. Okay, then we'll be looking on the technical side as well. Okay, so any doubts still here? Any doubts? Could we still now? Anyone? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes,
Perfect.
sir.
Okay, okay, fine. Yeah, okay. So then what we'll be doing is then we'll be covering the technical side. Okay, so when I say technical side, okay, Guidewire comes, so it's not like any other Java project or a .NET project where we are creating things from the scratch, right? We are building the whole project from the scratch. Here it's not like that. Here we already have one base application. Okay, and to that base application, based on the customer requirement, we are making the changes. So we already have a stable application which is being given by the Guidewire, and to that stable base application is what we are making the changes. Okay, now mainly changes will come in two areas. So any project that you go in real time, okay, they'll be asking which area you worked on. Okay, so every time we have mainly two core areas. One is configuration, one is an integration. Okay, so configuration basically deals with how to configure the base application. Okay, so let me just show you here. So when you go, okay, so this is the base application that you'll be getting. So right now you can see we are working on this policy center version 10. Okay, this is like policy center version 10. Okay, so once you open up, so I'll just show you here. So here to start the studio, this is the base application that you'll be getting. Okay, with this base application, we'll be running the studio. This is called the studio, similar to Eclipse or NetBeans, like that, similar to that. We have studio for policy center as well. Okay, so this is how a policy center studio looks like. Okay, so it is from the studio is what we are making all the changes. That's what the studio is. Okay, and this is how the UI looks like of the policy center. Okay, you can see this SUGW. Okay, So the username would be SU, password would be GW. Okay, this is the default username and password that comes with the base application. Okay, now we do have an option to add our own users as well. We can do that as well. Okay, again, I'll show you that how to do those things now. So now I'll just give SUGW and I'll click on login. Okay, so now you can see it is through this browser, it's what I'll be navigating. You can see we have account, we have policy, we can add a contact, we can search for admins, we can see activities, all those stuff we can see it from here. Okay, so it is through this browser is what we are navigating. Okay, so now you can see this configuration integration. So configuration basically deals with how to configure the base application. Okay, so right now the one that you're seeing, right, this is a base application. This is how an actual Policy Center application will look like whenever like we are start of a project. After that, based on the requirement, let's say the customer says, okay, fine, I need a new page to list down all the accounts that we have over here. Okay, so I'll just modify using Studio. I'll just add a new entry here and I'll add a new page. Okay, or else let's say, for example, if I go to some account, there's a requirement wherein like I need to have a new field over here, something like billing address. I need to have a phone number here, a new field like phone number. Okay, so that would be done using the Studio. Okay, so everything would be done using, all the changes would be done using the Studio. Okay, and the changes would be reflected over here. Okay, so these things comes under configuration, and then we'll be talking on the integration side. So these are two core areas that we have in any policy system: configuration and an integration. Okay, now under configuration, these are main three topics that we'll be having. Okay, it is an MVC architecture. We'll tell it as MVC, which stands for Model View Controller. Okay, so MVC, first we'll be looking at the DB side. Okay, so first we'll be covering all the databases. So under configuration, okay, first we'll be talking in detail on how to create a new tables, how to modify existing tables, how to create our own existing tables, in the sense existing out of the box table. Okay, so the base application is called as OOTB, or out of the box, and how to modify this base application is what we'll be looking. How to modify the base entities which is already there, which is provided by the Guidewire, or can I create my own tables? Can I add my own columns to that tables? All those stuff we'll be looking here. First, we'll be looking at the DB side. Okay, then we'll be looking on the UI side. UI side in the sense, how can I use the tables that we have created and operate the values from the UI? Okay, so those things would be covered over here. Then those are called the PCF files. Okay, again, we'll cover these things in detail in the coming days. And then we'll be looking at the application tab. Okay, like how to, so Guidewire has defined its own coding language, something called Gosu. Okay, so we'll talk here in detail, like how to create a Gosu class. Okay, how to create an object for the class, how to, based on some logic, how can I populate the values, all those logical stuff we'll be looking at the application tab. Okay, so these are main three things that would be covering as part of the configuration. All the DB side will be checking, how all the UI things will be looking at, all the coding side. Okay, then once we create everything, right, then we'll be looking on the integration side. Basically, like all the data that we have created, right? Let's say I need to send the data to the external system. Those things would be covered as part of the integration. Okay, so any doubt in this, like what are these things? What is the database? Have you heard of this UI? So may I know, like what are different databases that you have worked on, or have you heard of different DBs or UIs? Have you worked on DB, like Oracle, SQL Server? Anyone?
You can ask any question. I think Arun, if I'm not sure, it'll be the first time that you guys are seeing this, right? Ritik, Avisha, anybody wants to answer? Because we don't know where you stand. Have you worked it, or it's a first assignment? This is completely.
Actually, Amit, actually we went through the policy center as well. So recently we have started with the technical, but not deeply, just like we had two classes, and policy center, everyone has a studios as well. So we went through these all things.
Yeah, we worked on product designer also.
Yeah. Even product designer, we have done some changes in the coverages modifiers as well, because we have a lab sessions. So which is taken care of Keshav.
Okay, good. Then in that case,
Okay.
it will be a refresher. So see, whenever Arun asks any question, let him know so that he will be able to cover it. And guys, remember, this is going to be recorded, right? So it will be there for us, for you guys to even review it later, right? So interact, let him know what you guys know, ask the questions. So it'll be really helpful. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes. So again, okay. So before starting up, may I know the experience. So have you already worked on this policy center? Are we working on this so that I can just keep this basic level things and maybe a bit more.
Yeah,
Oh,
we just created an account and policies and coverages.
Oh, is it? Okay, 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 fine. So we are into
oh,
that. So is it
we
like
have we have used the product designer too.
okay?
Also, Arun, on UI level, we have done most of the things like rewriting, reinstatement, etc. But on studio level, we need some more details like how to create an entity, what is entity,
Yeah,
and
like
how
the
to write
technical
programs.
stuff we are not done yet.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yes,
in
yes.
the technical, just now, like we finished two
We just
classes, like
started.
what, yeah, like what is Go's language, how it is used, like only two classes. So we want more on the depth of the technical, but simultaneously, if it's good with the functional also, it's fine with us. If you
got
can
it,
give more points with the like simultaneous one, that
got
is
it, got it.
fine.
Like we don't have in detail knowledge. So
Yeah, yeah, got it, got it. So again, so you know like how this, what is this studio? So we know like okay, we have something called product designer. We know that we have something called studio. So those level of knowledge we have it, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Got
But
it.
again, yeah, but Arun, again, if you can just cover them in high level,
Huh,
it'll be a more like a revision. So you can
got it.
just brush through on a high level. So, we'll know. So I think that'll be the best thing. But if they know, if they have
Huh.
done, ask questions, it'll be good.
Fine, fine. Yeah, yeah, sure, no problem. Okay. So yeah, okay. So in that case, as we have seen, like we have the DB side. So again, as part of the training, we'll be looking. So when we say data type, okay. So now since you know what is the DB side, we'll be covering like how to create an extension to the entity, how to create how to create a new entities. Okay, what is ETX file, what is EIX file, what is ETI files, how to connect to H2 database. Okay, and all those stuff we'll be looking on those areas. Okay. Also, we'll see like type list. What is the predefined dropdown? What is the type list? What is the type category? What to create a dependent dropdown? Those level. Okay. Then the UI. Okay. We have something called PCF, which stands for page configuration file. So we'll be looking on the widgets location. Under widget, we'll be looking at atomic widgets, inputs at detail view, list view, card view, list detail view, all those stuff, pop-ups, pages, everything. Okay. And under application tire, again, we have something called GoSu. So we'll be looking on how to create a GoSu classes, what is an enhancements, how to create a GoSu object, how can I use this object to link various things, okay, how to populate things based on the UI, how to add a validations, all those stuff. Okay, we'll be looking over here. And then we'll be looking on the integration side. So under integration, we'll see like how to integrate this application to the external system. Okay, so we can do it in a number of ways. Okay, so one of a mechanism would be web service. Okay, so we'll be looking at how to use a web. So any idea like what is a web service? What is a synchronous call? So any guesses? So what is the difference between a synchronous call and an asynchronous call? Just to check, like you have some background on that. Any guesses?
No, Arun.
Okay. So yeah, so synchronous call means as soon as I make a request, I'll get a response then and there itself. That is the synchronous call. Okay. Like for example, let's say I enter the vehicle registration. Let's say you go to RTO website, okay, and then you enter some vehicle number, okay, and then when you make a search, you'll get whole vehicle, like who is the owner of the vehicle, all the stuff you'll see, right? So from where it is coming, those are all the synchronous call. As soon as you make a request, giving the vehicle registration number, you'll get the whole response with all the details. Okay. Another example would be, let's say, Aadhaar number. Okay. As soon as you enter the Aadhaar number, you'll get the whole details of like who is holding that Aadhaar number, what is the address, phone number, everything, right? So that is what a synchronous call. As soon as you enter the number, you'll get the response then and there itself. And based on that, you can populate the values. Okay. Similarly, again, another example would be, let's say you enter the postal code of a location. As soon as you enter the postal code, you'll get many suggestions, right? Or the whole location would be populated, right? So that way, those are called the synchronous call. Okay. Asynchronous means it would take some time for the response. You won't get a response then and there itself. Okay. For example, let's say I have sent a message to the collection agency who is going to collect the premium from the customers. Okay, so they'll take like 2-3 days, right? After that only they'll update. Okay, fine, we have got the premium from this particular guy, those details, and then they'll update their system. Okay, so it will take some time to get a response. So that is called as asynchronous communication. Okay, so here we'll be talking in detail, like under the web service. Web service is mainly used for synchronous calls. So we'll be talking here how to consume a web service, how to publish a web service, how to generate a payload. Like we have like payloads, right? Payload in the sense the data that we transmit over internet. So how to create those payloads, all those stuff we'll be talking here. Okay, then we'll be talking on the messaging side. Messaging in the sense how to create message queues. Messaging means basically for asynchronous communication we'll be using messaging, right? So here we'll be talking again from the technical point of view, like how to create a message queue, how to put the data in the queue, what is the event file rules, all those stuff, all those messaging, what is the messaging plugin, transfer plugin, request plugin, reply plugin, all those stuff we'll be talking here. Okay, then we'll be talking on the plugins. Okay, again we have many inbuilt plugins, predefined plugins, custom plugins. We'll be talking here in detail on that areas, how to use the plugin to integrate to external systems, all those things we'll be talking here. And finally the batches in the sense like we'll be using batches for reporting purpose, mainly for reporting, but yeah, any logic that can be scheduled over a period of time, that is what the batches is. Okay, so let's say it can be, I need to generate a report on a monthly basis or a weekly basis or an annual basis. So here automatically, let's say I need to see, okay, in one particular month, how many accounts were created for person auto. Okay, and then I need to create a report and send it to the underwriter, or maybe send it to some business people. Okay, so those kind of batches, okay, will be done using this batch process. Okay, so we'll be again discussing in detail like how to create a batches, okay, how to schedule a batch, okay, all those stuff we'll be talking over here. So these are main things. So these are the topics that we'll be mainly covering under the integration side. Okay, so this is how we can see, like, so on the configuration, these are main things that we'll be covering. Under integration, these are different things that we'll be covering. Okay, so any doubts till here? Is it clear till now? Doubts, queries, or are you, so have you heard of these terms? Just checking on this one, the ones that we have covered just now.
No.
Yes, yes. Okay. So yeah, got it. So maybe, yeah, I just wanted to know, like, what is the audience? Based on that, I can just change the topics accordingly. Okay. So yeah, so these are different things that would be covering as part of the configuration and as part of the integration. Okay, DB, UI, and logic, integration, web service, messaging, plugins and batches. Okay, again we have many other things as well. We'll be covering the product designer also. We'll be looking like what is the entity names, what is the all those other stuff. How can I use a field validators? Okay, or what are different types of transactions we have? All those things also will be covering. But this would be the core. Okay, so these are the things that would be covering as part of the training. Fine. So I believe like it's clear till now. Any doubts or queries you have in mind? So now we know like what this policy center application is, who will be using the policy center application. Okay, what are the topics that will be covering as part of the training? Okay, all those things. Okay. So yes, any doubts, queries? Are we good? Yes.
No, Arun.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay, so now let's, so this was just an overview of the training. Okay, now let's come to the business. So let's say, so I believe like you also know how to set up the application. So any idea on that, or was it like already set up?
We set it up, but I think they're on version 8. I think you're using version 10. Right?
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so let me just give you that as well. Okay, so in order to set it up, okay, maybe at the later point, if someone else have to set up, it might help them as well. So first thing that would be doing is we have mainly three things. One is Apache, one is Java, one is the Policy Center application. Okay, so this version 10. Okay, so this is the latest version that we have, Policy Center version 10. Okay, this is the current version. This is the latest version that we have, which is being given by Guidewire. Okay, so now version 8, 9, 10, it's almost the same. So whatever we are covering in version 10, you can even do that in version 8 also. Version 8, 9, 10, it's almost the same. Only version 7, it would be different. Version 7, it's a bit more like a legacy. We have to manually type in the XMLs and everything for creating an entries and all. Okay, that's pretty old thing. Okay, but version 8, 9, 10, it's very user friendly. It's fairly straightforward. Okay, so even though you're working on version 8, you will be able to understand everything, because as I told, like 8, 9, 10, you almost same. So that should not be a big issue. Okay, so now first what we'll be doing is we will just unzip this Apache. So you can see here this Apache 1.8.2. Okay, so this is the Apache. So this is the one that we have to use it for building the application and all. Apache we have up. Then we have like JDK. So we'll be installing Java as well. So let me just show you here Java. So this would be JDK 1.8. Okay. So version 8 would be JDK 1.7. So in your system for JDK version 8 that you're using, it would be JDK 1.7. Okay. But for version 10, it would be JDK 1.8. Okay. Now under this, let's say if you go, so once you double click and install Java, and once you unzip the Apache over here, the next thing that we'll be doing is we will set the environment variables. Okay. Now once you double click and install Java Apache, then you'll just right click on this PC, you just click on this properties, you go to advanced. Okay, I'm using older Windows. So here you can see, if you just go down, you can see this. I'll be setting an ant home like this. Okay, so how to set up ant home? You can see here I've just unzipped this in C drive, right? C Apache. So what you'll do, you'll just simply click on here. We have two things: user variable, system variable. So we'll go to system variable. We'll click on this new. I'll type in like ANT underscore HOME. And here variable value is nothing but the location. So just go here, Control C, go here and just paste it over here. That's it. This is how you setting ant variable. It's called as ant variable. Okay. Then what you will do, you'll set the Java variable. So Java home path. Again the same way, just new Java underscore home in caps, and give the bin look this JDK location. Okay. And finally, what you'll do, you'll add these two to the path variable over here. Okay, so whenever you are starting a studio, okay, we need to set up the path like this. Only then it will work. Okay, so you can see this and home slash bin, Java home slash bin. Okay, this is how you will be adding the path. So these are the ones that we just now created, and home slash bin. So percentage and home slash bin, Java home slash bin. That's it. This is how you are setting up the environment variables. Okay, now you can even test it. If everything is correct, or if I've set everything, if the ant variable is set correctly, if the Java home is set correctly, everything you can test it. Okay, so any guesses like how to test it? Have you ever tested it? If the ant environment is set correctly?
In command prompt.
Exactly. Yes. So command prompt we can just do it. So let me just show you that.
So Arun, you just wanted little background about the kind of audience we have. I think I've just got Keshav, who's been training them closely. So he can also give you a little bit insight now. He just joined right now. Maybe it will become easier for you what to how to proceed further.
Okay. Yes. So Keshav, like, so are we doing the training on this one? So Keshav, like, can you just give a background of yours?
Keshav? You're talking on mute.
Hi everyone. I hope you am audible perfectly.
Yes, Keshav.
Hello Arun. So about the background of these students, the candidates are Java candidates as such.
Okay.
So as per my understanding, they need to go through the fundamentals of Guidewire. Then obviously, what Policy Center. I think that's what's on the course, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's how I feel like. I hope that's as per schedule.
So like so let's say for example, if we have like 1 to 3 years experience, 3 to 6, 6 to 9. Okay. So in that, like, how many candidates would be in like how it would be majority of the candidates.
If you're asking about the experience level, these are
Experience,
all
yeah, yeah,
freshers.
okay, all of freshers.
Yeah,
Okay, got
right.
it.
They do know Java. Few of them knew SQL as well.
Got it.
Apart from that, they are kind of fresh.
Okay,
But yeah,
got it.
experience level, they are freshers.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Fine.
And there is someone who doesn't know Java coding. So
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, anyways, you can stay here till the end so that you will also learn
So
many things.
I just invited him, at least in the initial level, if he can give you some information what you're seeking, it will be very easy. So,
Yes. So, yeah, Keshav, do you want to add on anything to this?
I guess I'm fine. I mean, I can be in the background whenever you need me. I'll be right here, and whatever you
Okay.
need, I can help you out.
Okay. Okay. Fine. So, okay, got it. Okay. So, coming to this one, so again, so we can just check the version like this, similar to that and hyphen version. You can even, sorry, you can even check like this. So in this way, we can test it if the ant and Java is being set correctly. Okay. And after that, we'll just run the studio. So this is how we'll set up. So once we do this, the next thing that we'll be doing is we'll unzip this policy center. So once we unzip, this is the out of the box application that we'll be getting up. Okay. After that, what you'll do, we'll open up the command prompt here. Now, how to open again? Again, okay, sorry, you already know how to start the studio and all. So again, GWB space studio and just click on enter. So this would be the one that you'll be getting up, and then you can just run debug server. So usually it's always recommended to go with debug server, even though you have two options. Better keep a practice of running it in debug mode, debug server. Okay, so that like we can even run the scratch pad, or we can even use the different uh, background tools and all, widget inspector, everything you can use it, which works in the debug. Again, you'll get to know what's the difference once you go through. Okay, so once you start the server, you will see this call center ready message over here like this, and then you can just go to the URL like this. So this is the default username, password. So here if I just log out, this is the default URL. So localhost is nothing but I've deployed in my local. So that's what is localhost. 8180 is nothing but the port number. PC is for the application code. Policy center is nothing but the application, like that. Okay. So now this is, again, we do have an option to change the port and all. Just for your info, I'm telling, if you go here, you can even change those entries and all. If you simply go here, you can just change the default port address, everything and all, just for your info. But yeah, this is how the default port will be having localhost policy center, this one. Now this is for policy center. Okay. For claim center, it would be 8080. For billing center, it would be 8580, like that. We have for product design, it would be 8780, like that. Different ports, we have default ports. You see, this is the URL that we can give up. Username would be SU. SU stands for super user. Password would be GW. GW stands for Guidewire. You can click on login. Okay. So that's how you log into the application first. Okay. Now, okay. So here we have seen the login page. Now we don't have this back option. Okay. So now back option, in the sense you can see this URL remains the same. Okay. So whatever page that I click, okay, every time this URL remains the same. Okay, which means all the data that you're seeing right now, it's coming dynamically getting generated. All the values are dynamically getting populated. Okay, so it will hit the database. It will see like which field is linked to this particular field, and then it will get the data from the database, like that. Okay, so let's say, for example, if I click an account, okay, all these entries that you're seeing, everything is coming from the DB. It's dynamically getting generated. Okay, similar to Facebook. Okay, as you know, right, if I give facebook.com, and then if I just scroll down, you can see different values are getting dynamically generated, right? Same here. Okay, if you click on this, again the URL, you can see it's the same. So the main thing is we cannot bookmark one individual page, because like everything is dynamically getting generated. Okay, so that's how now we do have an option to design the whole page and all. I'll show you that in the coming days. But yeah, that's how this back button, we don't have it, so that's how we cannot bookmark it. But yeah, this is the home page that we can bookmark. Okay, So yeah, so once we log into the application, the first thing that we have to do is we need to load the sample data. Okay. Now in real time, we will already, this policy center would be integrated to claim center, billing center, contact manager, like that. Okay. But since we are dealing with the out of the box, we need to load the sample data. Okay. Only then we can create an. So when I say sample data, it could be like organization detail, producer IDs, all those stuff. Okay, the address details, location, everything, PIN number, everything we need to load up. Okay, so by default, Guidewire gives many sample data. Okay, now how can I load that sample data when we first start this application? Just press Alt Shift T. Okay, Alt Shift T. T for like Texas. Just press Alt Shift T. So it will open up server tools and internal tools page. This is just a one-time thing. Okay, you won't be doing this all the time. This is just like when you start this for the first time. That's what I'm doing. Then you go to this internal tools over here, and you'll go to this PC sample data. Okay, and we load this large over here. This one. Right? You can use anything, but yeah, usually will be loading large. So just click on this. So once the data has been loaded successfully, you'll see a message here: load data successfully completed. Okay. Once you see the message, you can just revert back, just return back. So that's it. This is how we will be setting up the whole application. Okay, and home, Java home, open the studio, run the server, load the sample data. That's it. Okay, we are now good to start with creating an account and policy and everything. Okay, so any doubts till now? Is it clear? Doubts, queries? Anyone?
No, Arun.
Yes, I can show. Yes.
You're good.
Okay. Okay. Feel free to ask again, like Prashant, Rahul, Hazrada, Mahesh, anyone? Okay. Just randomly calling out the names. Okay. So yes, so that is the one. So now, okay. So now we are into the data model now first. So okay. So any idea like what this diagram stands for? Okay. So when you say account and you can see some umbrella-like thing, and then we have policy. So what is this thing? Any guesses? Anyone? What can
One
this?
account
One
can have
account.
many policies.
Exactly. Yeah. Perfect. So that's how the thing is. So now and then account, when we say like what can be an account. So what are different accounts? Maybe. So when we say account, like who is actually the account holder?
Policy holder.
Huh,
It can be a person or it can be a business owners as well.
Exactly. Company. Okay. So it can be either a person or a company. Okay. Now person can have its own type of policy. Okay. So let's say for example a person. Any guesses like what are the different types of policies a person can take? Person like anything. So like let's say you have to take a policy. So for what all things in your day-to-day life you can take a policy?
Auto
Auto
insurance,
insurance.
Auto, yes. But
workers' compensation.
no. So for a person, I'm telling you, for a person, what will be telling?
Property as well.
Property we can say.
Health insurance.
Exactly.
Life
health
insurance.
Liability.
Yes, yes, correct. Liability also we have. So these
Term
things
insurance.
comes for a person. Yeah, term insurance on that. So these things comes for a person. Okay. Now we'll be mainly dealing with PNC insurance, PNC or property and casualty. Property means the actual property that we have, like auto, we can say. Okay. And then casualty means the liabilities. Let's say it is my mistake. Due to my mistake, someone else has caused some damage. So I am liable to pay for his expense. That's what liability. So PNC means property and casualty. Okay. So now account, a person can take different types of, like auto he can take, or for a house he can take. All those things comes for a person. Okay. Now this workers compensation comes under the company. Okay. So let me just show you here. So if you go up here, so just opening up. So yeah, so a person, there can be a person or there can be a company. Okay, person can take different types of policies, like person auto, like homeowner and all those things. And company can take like workers' compensation or commercial auto or business, all those stuff, or inline marine or all those things we have. I can just show you here. Okay, so these are different products that we see. Okay, so personal auto means for a car. Like we have a car, right? So that's our personal car. That's what personal auto for taking a policy for my car. Workers' compensation means for one big companies, right? For big companies, like there'll be many employees, right? So let's say in your company also, let's say if you're working for a firm, your firm will be taking coverage for insurance for you, right? So let's say if it's a big company, I'm dealing with big looms and all, okay, and let's say something happened during the workplace, at the workplace something happened, okay, so it is the liability of the company to pay expenses for the worker, okay, so those things would be coming under workers compensation, okay, so all the employees would be covered for a big organization. That's what workers compensation. You can see this image, right? It's self-defined image car. Inline marine means for transportation, okay, let's say I'm transporting goods from here to, let's say, via ship, okay, and transporting from Mumbai to Dubai, okay, now in between due to some cyclone, the whole cargo was lost, was sink, okay, flooded. So those coverages, covering of the cargoes, everything comes under inland marine. Not only ship, again, like road transportation also, everything, all the transportation comes under inland marine. You can see this symbol, right, like this, okay. Then we have homeowners. Homeowners means our house, for covering our house, like again it comes for a personal liability. General liability, again we are liable to pay for the external guys damage and or whatever is expenses, medical expenses, everything would be the general liability, as the name says. Commercial property would be again like for commercial area. For a company like commercial property, will be having commercial package, would be a mix of commercial property and commercial auto. So commercial auto would be like, let's say for example, uh, this Amazon or like different big vendors or big logistic companies. Okay, they'll be having many vehicles, right? Let's say Uber or Ola. Okay, they'll be having many vehicles, right? So for covering those vehicles is what commercial auto. Okay, another big thing is like Zoom car and all, right? They would be covering those things because like the people would be using that. So those things comes under commercial auto. No? Business owner for the business. So again, like these are different products that we have up. Okay, so we can create a policy for these different. These are all the out of the box products that comes with the base application. Okay, now it's not in real time. You may not see all these products. Okay, because like companies may not be covering all these products. They will be only having like maybe like 3-4 products or maybe like 5-6 or anything, or maybe like we do have company who's supporting everything, but it's not mandatory. So if you don't see any of the product, it doesn't mean that it's not there. It's like the company is not supporting. Or company, when I say the insurance company or the client that you're working for. Now we can even create our own products as well. Let's say, for example, um, the ship, okay, ship, or let's say marine, okay, or travelers, okay, different new products also the underwriters can create. Okay, so marine means like for ship, okay, so for personal auto there would be collision or maybe like hit a tree, some coverage would be like hit a tree, okay, but for ship it won't be there, right, or for a boat it won't be there, which is over a river, so they will have its own set of coverages. So that way, so we can even create a new products as well. We can even use or modify the existing products. Okay, everything can be done using this product design. Okay, so coming to the account, so here based on the account that we create, we can decide. Okay, so let's see, if I open personal auto, you can see account type is personal. Okay, if I go back, if I just go here to, let's say, commercial auto, here account type is any. For a personal also I can create company, so I can modify. Let's say the customer says it should be available only for company, so I can just select like this. So all these things can be modified from here, just for your info. We'll see that later anyways. So here, coming to this, first what we'll be doing is we'll have one account. For that one account, we'll be creating multiple policies. Okay, let's say I can take a policy for my house also. I can take a policy for my car also, right? So that's what this umbrella, like one-to-many mapping will do. Okay, so in order to create an account, okay, you can see this account is either a person or an organization who can have one or more policies. Okay, so to create an account, what we'll do, we'll just go here to this account, click on this, click on this new account. So these are all the accounts that I've already created. Okay, this is all done. We have put up this name. Okay, so just click on new account. Okay, so now once I click on new account, you can see this first name, last name, all those things you can give up. So let's say we'll take an example of a course note because that's more in line with the real-time example. So let's say course note, I'll just give some name. Let's say just give me a name. Let's say let's give some name. Let's say Tony. What? Let's say what? Let's keep Tony stuff. Okay, let's say I'll give some name. I'll make a search. Okay, so now you can see here, if we already have an account with this name in the database, we will get like this. We will get the result at the bottom. Okay, if we don't have that account, we'll be getting a 0 result, and this button will show up. This is the visibility. Again, we do have an option to set the visibility of different buttons and all. We'll see that later. But yeah, for now, I'll just click on this create new account. Okay, so once you create a new account, you can see 3 options. One is a company, which is like a company you can create. One is a person you can create. One is from address book. Okay, so from address book means in real time, this Guidewire Policy Center would be integrated to Contact Manager. Okay, there is one more application given by the Guidewire, which is called Contact Manager. So it is mainly used for storing all the contact details. Okay, so when I say contact detail, it can be an account detail, it can be a like some officer details, or it can be underwriter details, or it can be a driver detail, passenger detail, or anyone. Okay, all those contact related stuff would be there, and then that contact manager will integrate to multiple systems, call center, claim center, billing center, everywhere. So we have like one place to modify all the contact details. Okay, we don't have to go to each and every system and change it. So that's all. So when we say address book, if we have any integration, we can get that. But for now, we'll just select over here. Okay. So now you can see here all the data. We have in create new account page. Okay, I know the layout will be a bit different as compared to version 8. In version 8, you'll see update cancel over here. In version 10, it's like over here. That's fine. Okay, and then we'll just give some dummy data. Let's say what brigade road, some road. And then what? Let's say some city. Let's say some state. I'll select. So you can see here when I select Arizona. Okay, this is one sample data that you can select Arizona. So when you select this, you can see all the data are preloaded. All the city name, everything comes up automatically, right? So based on the data that we have loaded at the beginning, right? We have loaded some sample data, right? So based on that is what this data will show up. Okay, so you can just select this. You can even select some address type to billing or anything. These are all some basic details of the account number, phone number, email address, account, everything and all. And finally, we have this organization and this producer. Okay, so here you can see producer means, as we know, right? He is the one who is referring the account holder to the insurance company, right? So whenever we are creating an account, we need to give like who is the guy who has referred this account to the insurance company. Okay. So I'll just make just make a search. So we'll get the data like this. These are all the sample data that gets loaded from the sample data that we have loaded. That is the reason why we are telling to load the sample data. Or else in real time, even though we don't load the sample data, it will be coming from the contact manager. But for now, we just select this. Okay, and then I'll simply click on update. Now these are all mandatory stuff that you have to fill in. Even if you don't, these are called the required properties. These are called the widgets. Individual fields are called the widgets. These are called the type list. Okay, these are all the mouse over. So there are many different conditions based on which I can make these fields as mandatory. I can even add a new entries to this type list. Okay, all these things we can do. Again, we'll see in the coming days. We'll see how to add a validations based on some conditions. How can I make these fields as mandatory? Okay, how to change the labels from here. All these things and all. We'll see that. So I'll just click on update. So this is how I'll be creating a new account. You can see this one stuff. I just created a new account, right? Okay, so you can even see the account details, everything you can see from here. Okay. Now once we create an account, the next thing that we have to do is to create a policy. Okay. So any doubts still here? How to create an account? I believe like you have already created this account, but yeah, still you are having any doubts, please. Is that clear? Clear?
Clear, Arun.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. Okay, so now let's say I just created an account. Now, if you click on this button, right, this policy transactions, when you click, you'll see like empty. Why you're seeing as empty? Because we have not created any policy yet. We just created an account. Okay. Now, once you create an account, then you have to create a policy. Okay. Now, to create a policy is what will be going to the submission manager. Either you can do it from here, or like new submission, or just better to go to the account, click on the submission manager. Okay. Once you click on the submission manager, it will show me like this submission manager. You just open up the PPT. So first we have seen how to create an account. Okay. Once you create an account, then you'll be creating a policy. Okay. So these are different steps that we'll be using to create a policy. Okay. These are various transactions we can see. Okay. So first we'll create a submission, policy change, renewal, cancel, reinitiate, renew. So today we'll be looking at this submission transaction, how to create this first step. Okay. You can see policy is getting created over here. Okay. So first what I'll do, I'll just click on submission. I'll click on new submission. Okay. So you can see this organization detail. We have already given the organization detail, producer code during creating an account. We can even create multiple submissions in one shot. Again, usually it will be single that we'll be using. Again, we have quick code, full application code. I'll also explain you that in the coming slides. State, we have select the location of the account holder. By default, it would be the present date, like today's date. And these are the data that you can see. These are all the different product names that you can. Okay. So now from where these are coming? These are coming from the product designer that we have. Okay. So these are the data that you're seeing here. It's not about commercial auto, everything. It's like from here it's coming. Okay. So now let's say I'll just select one. Let's say I'll just select personal. I'm now going to create a policy for a personal auto, for a car, for my personal car. Okay. So I'll just select personal auto. It's just coming up. So once you see this, okay, the first page that comes up is the offerings. Okay. So any idea like what is this offering? Any guesses? What can be the offering? Any idea on this one? Just a second. Anyone? Okay.
Offering the same policy with different codes or something like that.
Yes. Yeah. So for example, we can see a basic, standard, premium, right? So basic. So these are all the things that again we are confident in product designer. So let's say if I open personal auto, okay. If I open this offering, you can see these are offering basic, standard, premium. These are the ones that you're seeing here, basic, standard, premium. Okay. Now under this, let's say if I select basic program, if I open up the selections, okay, you can decide what are the various coverages that should be shown for basic. So like for example, if you open 6 months annual, or let's say you can see these are different coverages that we have. Okay, so let's say for basic only these many coverages I can enable, disable, all those things you can do. Okay. Again, I'll show you when we create a coverage. Let's say at the later point when we cover the product designer topic, at that time I'll explain you how based on the offering we can change the coverages and everything. We can change the premium, everything, you know. You'll see that. For now, what I'll do, I'll just select the basic. Okay. So it's simply a sub product of a parent product. Okay. So like for example, similar to a club membership, you can say club membership. What we'll do, let's say basic program we can use only indoor games in a club. Okay. Let's say standard program, we can use indoor as well as outdoor games. Like say indoor games and outdoor games. Indoor games, carom, chess, everything. Outdoor games, bat, cricket, everything. Right now we have this in my call. That's why I'm giving that example. And then we have premium program wherein like we can even use swimming pool as well. Okay. So similar to that, based on different subcategories here in the club membership, we have subcategories, right? Similar to that, for a personal auto, we have subcategories. Like basic, we have only 5 coverages for a car. Standard, we have let's say 7 to 8 coverages. Okay. Premium will have like B2B, like all the coverages like that. Okay? So let's say, for example, I'll select basic program. Okay, I'll click on next. Then comes the second page, which is nothing but qualification. Okay, qualification means nothing but these are all the validation questions that the underwriter or the underwriter will be working on this one. Gracie will be asking to Tony, like, okay, is your license anytime revoked or is your cancelled over? These are all validation questions that we have. Okay, again, these things we are configuring over here in product designer. To show you to homepage, I'll go to homepage, I'll go to products, I'll go to person author, question sets. You can see here, PA pre-qualification. You can see these are the questions that you see. This application revoked, cancelled, all those things you can see here. These are the questions that you see. PA pre-qualification. These are the questions. Okay. Now again, we can click on this and we can even define what it should do. What is the correct answer? What is the incorrect answer? What is the license? So if I give correct answer as no, nothing should happen. If I give incorrect answer, what is the failure message that should be shown? Everything will be defined here, this product design. Okay. So for now, again, I'll keep it to default. For now, we'll see this later. We'll just keep it to default. I'll click on next. Okay. So first we have offering. Yeah.
Arun, I have a question. What is
Sure.
the difference between qualification and supplemental?
Supplemental in the sense, like which part we have done?
Supplemental also has some set of questions, right? And qualification is also asking some questions. So what will be the difference?
Yeah. So like, can you give a bit more detail, like supplemental, like where we are actually looking at?
I think
When we are doing in work on compensation, we have the questions like supplemental questions.
Okay, that way.
Yeah.
Okay, so that depending on different LOBs. Okay, so if you go to this like question sets, okay, you can see these are all different questions. Okay, this is what you're telling, supplemental. Okay. So these are nothing but different questions you can give. So different products will have its own set of questions. Okay, its own set of, you can see these are different questions for product design, for what workers compensation. Similar to that, we have different questions. So if I open up this workers, let's say if I open homeowner, if I open question set, it will have like HOB pre-qualification. Okay, so it's not like every time it could be same. It's basically different validation questions. Everything will have its own set of questions. Okay, so that way we'll be doing on. Okay. So again, these names and all, again it would change. These are not the names that you'll be seeing in real time. Okay, this is just a PA pre-qualification. Now even I can add my own naming convention, my own things. Instead of PA pre-qualification, I can use like PA sub-qualification or anything. So these names and all, it changes. These are the names which is only given in out of the box. We can even give our own names. Okay. So that is the one. Okay. So for now, for portion auto, these are the questions that we'll be having. Okay. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Okay. So now once we do this, then we have the policy info. So these are again the basic set of info that we'll be having up. Okay. All the pre-filled based on the data that we have up. Again, I'll click on next. Okay. Now comes the driver details. Okay. So whenever we are taking a portion auto, right, we need to add a driver or vehicle to a policy, right? So we'll just click on this button, add. We can even add a new person from here directly. We can get it from the contact manager, or we can even select the existing driver, which is nothing but the account holder, which will show up here. Okay. Now you can see here all this data we have. So these are all the fields that we have. Again, in the coming days, we'll see like how to create a list view. This is a card view. This is an input set. These are all the type lists. These are all the mandatory things. This is another input set. This is whole things put in a detailed view. All those things will be seen anyways. For now, I'll just keep it to the default values that we have up. Okay. So let's say, for example, without entering this data, if I simply click on next, we'll get the validation messages over here. Okay. So always like it is mandatory to fill these red color mandatory stuff. These are all the required stuff. Okay. So we'll just select something. Let's say, for example, Arizona again. You can just give some dummy data. Again, if you are getting an error, just simply click on that. It will take you there. You can see here, it will highlight there. Just click on this, it will take you there. Again, click on roles. You can see this mandatory stuff license. Maybe I'll just enter like some year 2000. Number of accidents, maybe I'll give 0, so that at the end it won't skip that validation. I'll just click on 0 and I'll click on next. So now you have given the drive. Again, you can go to back also. It's not like once you give, you can even see the data here, all those data, all those things you can see it over here. Okay. So once you click on next, okay, then comes the vehicle details. Okay. So again, we'll just click on this create vehicle. Again, these are called the iterator buttons. You just add up a new value. Again, you'll see that in the later point how to create the iterator buttons, what is the list view and everything. For now, I'll just enter the values here. Okay, so again, let's enter some dummy bin number. Let's say, for example, I'll give like 999999 some value. Just click on outside. You can see all the data is pre-filled, right? So what is happening in the background? It is again invoking. So in real time, what will happen is it will invoke some external web service, some win service. Based on that, I'll pass the win number from here. Based on that, I'll get a response of all the vehicle details, and that vehicle details I'll populate in my UI. Okay. Again, we'll be covering that in detail, how to consume a web service, how to publish a web service based on the web service that I'm consuming. I'll be sending a request, the number. Based on that, I'll be getting a response, and those response data, I'll be writing a mapping class and just populate everything in the UI. We'll see that in the later point. For now, we'll just enter this dummy data over here. We'll get the values over here. Just add some cost value, some value. Again, we can just assign, like we can even add, let's say if there are 2 to 3 drivers, even we can give the percentage, how much he's been using. Okay, again, for now, since we just have one, I'll just keep 100. Again, we'll click on next. Select Arizona only. You can see this message will show up. I'll click on next. Okay. So once you click on next, finally we are in the coverages page. Okay. So now you can see these are various coverages that we have. Okay. Liability, medical, uninsured. See, all these coverages are again coming from the product designer from here. Okay. Let me just show you. So if I click on product designer, if I open personal products, if I open personal auto, we are working with personal auto, right? This personal auto, right? So if I open personal auto, within that, if I open policy line, so it's like a product model with the product, policy line, coverage term. Again, we'll see that later. For now, I'll just select policy line. I'll select the coverages. You can see these are various coverages that we have for a personal auto. Okay, you can see all these coverages. Now, again, you may be wondering how come only here these many coverages we have, but here only these many coverages. Why? Because there are many visibility conditions as well. For example, let's say if I select New York, if I select availability, you can see it's available only for state New York, but we are working with Arizona, so it won't show up here. Okay, but then there are few coverages like medical, let's say medical payment. I'm able to see here. So if I check the visibility over here, where is the medical payment? Yeah, medical payment availability. You can see it's available for everything. That's why you are able to see it over here. Again, we'll see that later. For now, you can see here, these are the data that you'll be seeing. So it is coming from here. For now, you can just understand that these are the coverages that is coming from here. These are called the coverage terms. These are called the coverage terms. For now, I'll just select the default. Let's say I can just select change 5,000, 10,000, anything I can just select. Let's say I'll select 20,000. Anything I can select. So I just select medical coverage as 20,000. So like 20,000 would be covered as part of this policy. Okay. So the cost till 20,000 would be covered for this particular coverage. So let's say any cost which is within 20,000 will be covered. Okay. And finally, I'll click on next. Okay. So this is the risk analysis screen, which is like if we have any underwriting issues, it will show up here. For now, we don't have it. Again, we will cover that later. So I'll just click on next. These are called the, again, we do have some underwriting authority and all. That concept is there, which we'll cover that later. For now, we don't have any issues. And finally, you can see here a review screen. Review in the sense, all the data will show up like this. It's like what all primary insured, product, effective date, expiry date, everything will show up over here. Okay, it's kind of a review page. Okay, so finally, once we enter all the data, what we'll do a quote. So now you can see here, based on whatever coverages that I've selected, okay, I've given effective date, 6 months policy, the country, everything I've selected over here, right? Now I need to get the premium based on what are things that I've added to my policy. I need to get the premium, okay? So now before doing a premium, it will check for the value. We need to do a quote, okay? So when I do a quote, what happens is first it will check for the validations. So now you can see when I do a quote, it will break. Okay, you can see here. You can see date of birth was missing. So there are many pre-validations also we can add up. Okay, we'll see that validations are not later. For now, I'll just enter the date of birth. Okay. So it will every time when we do a quote, it will do a validation. Let's say I'll just select some year, some dates, some date. It's like we have like in the out of the box, we have a validation where like the driver it should be. This is a mandatory field. That's why we are given it like this. Okay. So now I'll just click on next. Next, and finally I am into the last screen, which is nothing but a review screen over here. Okay, and I'll do a quote. Okay, now when I do a quote, what happens is there is something called rating system. Okay, rating. Okay, now we can even create rating within the Guidewire. We can even do a rating outside the application. Okay, usually the rating systems would be external most of the time. Why? Because already the legacy policy systems would be using a rating system. Okay, what we'll do, we'll use the same web service over here, and using plugins and all, we can just integrate to a rating system. Okay, whatever data that we have here, we'll send it to the rating system. Based on that, we'll get a premium value. Okay, so now you can see when I do a quote, so as soon as I do a quote, you can see here based on whatever data that I've selected within this, I will get a premium amount over here. You can see it's $768. Everything will get over here. Okay. Now let's say, so now you can see, right? When I do a quote, it is at that time is where I'll be getting a total cost, or I'll be getting a premium amount based on the data that I've selected. You can see individual differences, like for each and every coverage, how much is the cost, everything you can see it over here. Okay. Now let's say this our guy Tony, he told that, okay, fine, boss, this is out of my budget. I cannot pay this much. Okay, maybe you can reduce something. Let's say reduce the coverage limit or something. Okay, my budget is only around $750. It is like way ahead. Okay, so what this underwriter can do is he or she can edit this transaction. Okay, so once we quote it, it's not like it's finalized. We can, even though once we quote it, we can re-quote it n number of times. Okay, we'll only get the premium only once we do a quote. But let's say only after doing a quote, I get to know, okay, fine, this is out of my budget. I cannot pay this much. So what we'll tell, okay, we'll tell like, okay, fine, maybe reduce the limit. Let's say I've given medical coverage like 20,000, right? Maybe you can reduce it to 10,000. Okay, and let's see how much it's going to cost. So what I'll do, I'll again click on edit policy transaction. So you can do this edit n number of times if it is quoted. Okay, so these are all the status you can see here. Status changes accordingly. Okay, so submission initially it's in draft state. Okay, when I do a quote, it will change to quoted state, and once I issue, it will be bound state. Like that, we have different status and all. So for now, what I'll do, I'll just click on edit. I'll go back to this coverages. Maybe at 20, I'll just reduce it to like 10,000. Okay, and I'll re-quote it. So now you can see, okay, when I did a re-quote, you can see the 721. Okay, so it's again, I can tell, okay, fine, my budget is 750. Maybe you can increase till 15,000. Okay, so what this underwriter will do, again, you can click on edit. So this edit can be done a number of times. Okay, we'll go back again, we'll just change it to 15K, and again, we'll do a quote. So each time, okay, now it's okay, 745 should be fine. Okay, so in this way, we can do this quote n number of times. Okay, that's what you can see now, the change status change to quoted. Okay, so even though we quote it, we can do re-quote it n number of times. That's what the quoted. Okay, so now once we quote it, so here, let me just show you here, submission. Okay.
Arun, small doubt, sorry.
Yeah, sure. Yes, Abhishek.
Once we quote it, yes, once we quote it, can underwriter change the expiration date? Like it's been 6 months, right? We can
Huh.
make it to 1 year.
Yeah, we can do
Is it?
anything. Yeah, it's editable.
So not only premium, you can do anything. Like
Anything
you
we
can
can.
edit any details.
We can even add driver also. We can even add a vehicle also.
Okay.
Everything we can do. Not only coverages.
Okay.
Any
Okay.
change we can do.
Okay.
And finally, we'll do a quote, and we'll get the premium here. Okay. Now, once we do a quote, next what I'll do, you can see here. So if I show you here submission, it qualifies the candidate. You can do quotes a number of times. Finally, we'll bind and issue the policy once acceptable quote is found. Okay. So now you can see this is my acceptable quote. Okay, I'm ready to pay this much. Okay. So now what I'll do, so what I'll tell, okay, fine, you can proceed with this. Okay. So what this Gracie will do is she'll go here and issue the policy. Okay. So there are two options. One is bind only, one is issue policy. Okay. Bind only is nothing but we can the policy would be active, but it won't be sent for printing. Okay, the invoice won't be sent to the customer until and unless we issue the policy. Okay, so bind only means the policy would be active, but we are waiting for few more data from the customer. Maybe it can be a customer's address proof or some address validation, or maybe some document, or let's say to give you another example, let's say commercial auto. Let's say we are dealing with commercial auto. Okay, now let's say there are 10 vehicles. Out of 10 vehicles, I only remember the VIN number of 9 vehicles. The 10th vehicle, I don't remember the VIN number. But I know, okay, fine, 10 vehicles, we do have to add it. Okay, so the 10th vehicle VIN number, what I'll tell to the underwriter, okay, boss, the 10th vehicle, maybe I'll call you tomorrow and give you the data. For now, you can add 10 vehicles, enter the data of 9 vehicles, and tomorrow I'll call you up. Okay, so now when you click on bind only, it means the policy is active. Okay, so let's say once the policy is active, let's say in the evening something has happened, the insurance company is liable to pay for the 10th vehicle also, even though the data is not there. So that's what. Okay. So that's what the difference between bind and issue. Issue only once we issue the policy, that's where we can go with other transactions, or that's where the invoice will be sent to the billing system for like to send it to the customers, everything. So always we have to issue the policy. Okay, bind only is kind of an intermediate state. Always we issue the policy. Okay, now once we issue the policy, we cannot do anything. Once we issue the policy, after that we cannot edit it until and unless it's quoted. That's fine. We can again click on edit and everything I can change. Whatever I need to add, driver, vehicle, everything I can do. But once I issue it, means like, so let me just click on issue. So you can see here, once I issue the policy will get the policy number. You can see this. We got the account number, we got the policy number. You can see, you can view the policy like this. So once the policy is issued, it is called a submission bound. The policy is bound. Okay, that's what. Okay, when I click on this view policy, okay, so now you can see. Right now I have the policy. Okay, I can even see the driver details. I can even see the vehicle details. I can see what are the coverages that are there in here. I can see the code details. I can see the forms, summary, everything. I can see it over here. Okay, building everything. You can see the data over here. Okay, so now you can see here the policy is bound. Okay, bound means if you take the summary screen, if you scroll down, you can see the submission, completed transaction, submission. Okay, it is in the submission transactions.
Arun,
Yeah.
Arun, can we do edit the policy like with the help of a product designer? We can do it after issuing the policy also.
No. So what happens is, so let's imagine as a logically. So what we'll do is, let's say I've taken a policy. Okay, after taking a policy, everything, what we'll do is hold the document, everything would be sent, the invoice would be sent to the customer, everything has been started. Okay, now after that we cannot simply go and edit the policy again, because already the invoice would be sent with all the details, all the legal things, what all things would be covered, everything's been added. Okay, the policy would be sent. Okay, product designer is just to add up products to the policy. Okay, it's kind of an add-on to. Okay, we can only configure the products, policy line, everything from here. Okay, but then once the policy is created, now it's not editable. Okay, now let's say After, let's say the policy active is from January to December. Okay, I have added one driver, one vehicle, everything I've added. Okay, so now let's say I got married in, let's say, April. Okay, now I need to add my wife also as a driver to the policy. Okay, as a secondary driver. So at that time, I cannot go and edit the policy. At that time, what I'll do, I'll go here and go for a policy change transaction. Okay, go here and go for a policy change. Maybe go talk in detail on the policy change, what it's doing and all. But yeah, that's what the policy change is. So now when I do a policy change, that's where like this new changes would be attached as an amendment documents, or we'll tell it as endorsement documents and everything, different names we have. So that would be appended to the main document, main policy document, the changes would be appended. So again, for the policy change, we won't be again creating everything from the beginning. It's just like only that amendments will add up to the main document. What are the changes? Let's say in June, July. In July, I bought a second-hand car, and that second-hand car also I need to add to a policy. So I'll go for another policy change in July. So each time whenever we have to make a change, we'll go for another transaction policy change. Okay. But once we create a policy, it cannot be edited until and unless it's quoted. So once we quote it, we can edit it. But once we issue the policy, we cannot do that. Okay.
Okay, Arun. Thank you.
Okay. So now if you see
One
this.
more doubt, Arun.
Yes. Yes,
Sorry,
Apurva.
one more doubt. Once we bind it, does the premium start, or once we issue the policy, then the premium starts?
Yeah. Once we bind it, also the premium we are liable to pay because we are getting the coverage, right? We are getting.
But for the 10th vehicle, as you told us, the 10th vehicle, still we did not get any details. Like how does the customer pays, because it is not officially added, right? Only some of the details of this vehicle is added.
So that's what. So that's what the intermediary state. We will issue that only the documents won't be generated. It's still active as part of the policy. It will still be there. Okay. We'll be adding up the details. Other details and all will be adding up. Again, this would be like an intermediary state. Only we can go for a policy change or renewal or cancel only if we issue the policy. Until and unless we do it, most of the insurance companies don't have this bind option. They remove that bind option and will directly issue the policy. Okay. This is just an out-of-the-box feature that we have, for which we can even bind up also, like an intermediate stage. We can even do that as well. So that way also we can do.
Okay.
So like again, so we have seen submission. It qualifies the candidate. We have seen that. So these are different steps we have seen, right? First, what we did, identified the product. Okay, which is the product that we have identified. Which product we have selected?
Personal auto.
Exactly. So we have identified the product as personal auto. Then what we did, we have gathered the information. Okay. So we have selected what all things are being covered. What all things we have given. We have given driver detail, vehicle detail, everything we have given, right? Then we have added few coverages. Coverages like medical coverage, then UMBI, liability, couple of coverages we had it, right? We have kept it there. Then we did a quote. Then we can do a quote multiple times. And then once the quote, agreeable quote is found, finally we'll issue the policy. That's what you're seeing here. Okay, contract is legally bind, we'll finally issue. The issue means policy has been printed. Okay, these are the steps that we did while doing a submission over here. Okay, so now once you do a submission, you can see this account, we have the submission, everything we have been done. Okay, now we can, so is it clear till now? Any doubts still here? Any more doubts, please? This is how we'll be doing a submission, or this is how we'll be creating a policy for an account. Okay. So now again, if you go, you can even see that if you go to the account, let's say that is the account that we have. If you go to policy transactions, you can even see that this is the policy number. If you click on this, I'll tell you what this transaction number will be tomorrow when we cover the policy change. So now I'll just set policy number. You can see this is the policy for this particular account. All those things we have it over here. So is it clear?
Yeah.
Yes. Others, yeah. Okay. America, Madhuri.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Okay, so now let's say, for example, I have created a policy. Okay. Now there are different codes. So you can, if you remember, I've just selected full application code, right? So if you show here, if you go here to the submission manager, if you click on new submission, you can see a full application code, right? So now let's say, for example, some customer simply calls up the insurance company and tell, okay, fine, boss, I have to take the policy for my car. I just want to know how much it's going to cost on an average. I don't need the exact amount, just how much on an average, how much it's going to cost. Okay, just kind of an inquiry. Okay, so for those purpose and all, we have something called quick quote. Again, this comes with the out of the box. Now it's not mandatory that each and every company will have this quick quote, or each and every client that you're working for will have quick quote. But yeah, we do have something called quick quote also like this. So now let's say, for example, if I select again portion auto. Okay. So now you can see only two steps we have. Quick quote. That's it. We don't have like previously in full application code, you can see like we had many steps, driver, vehicle, this, that, everything, right? But now everything is in like one single page. Okay? So I can just add some new driver, just some set up some basic questions I'll be asking, okay? And then add a new vehicle, maybe like model year, let's say what, 2010, make maybe like 4, okay? Model, let's say what, which model, if you go something, if you go some cost, you can give some cost, primary drive. So you can see only basic set of information I given. Okay, and then I'll click on next and I'll do a quote. That's it. This is the quote. You can see here, I can see the values over here, and you can see all the details over here. Okay, I can see over here, you can see the data. Okay. Now once you get the information, you can see over here quote. Okay, I'll click on quote.
Arun, when we go for full application and when we go for quick quote?
Yeah, quick quote is nothing but like it's just for inquiry purpose. Okay, let's say based on some basic set of information, you can see the quote here. Okay, but then I can issue the policy only if it is a full application. You can see you don't have any option to bind and issue and everything, right? Only if it is a full application quote, I can do the value. This is just for inquiry purpose, quick quote. So let's see if I click on now this full application quote. Now you can see. Now if you see the quote and all, so now I can just click on next, and finally I can issue the policy, quote and issue the policy. Okay. So that's how I can do it. So quick quote means nothing but just like 1 or 2 steps we'll have up. We can even configure like what are the mandatory information that we can give up. And then full application quote means always whenever I need to issue the policy, it has to be the full application quote. Okay. So if you see here, quick quote is rapidly accessed where the policy can be afforded. Okay. Minimum information cannot be used to bound the policy. So we cannot create a policy in quick quote. Always full application code. It's legally active only when we do a full application. We'll have a complete set of information. We can bound the policy. Bound means it's active like that in force. If you see here, policy.
Only to just check the premiums will go for quick quote.
Just for inquiry purpose, just to check the premium based on some basic set of information, minimum information that we ask, we'll go for a quick quote like that. Okay, let's say a simple example. If you go to like a like policy bazaar, okay, if you go there, you'll give your age and your date of birth and some basic information, right? And then it will show me how much it's going to cost, set of policy premiums and everything. Okay, but actually, whenever I'm creating a policy, I need to give many details, right? I need to give many validation questions, many details, and all. That's the main difference. Okay. Similarly, when we do a full application code, we have to give the entire set of info. Only then we can issue the policy on his behalf. Okay. That's what the difference between a quick code and a full application code. Okay, is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Also, you can even do a comparison also. Like for example, let's say if you go here versions, you can see something like versions here. Okay. Save draft means simply you can save up all the changes and all you can save up. Next means you can go back. Previous means you can go to next page. Release means like underwriters, once we do a quote, we can just release the lock. By default, it would be locked like only this underwriter can view it. Let's say some other underwriter logs in by some other means, and if you try to enter this submission number, he won't be able to see. It will tell it as permission not given and all. Okay, that's what, again, please lock, again, it would be not used much of a time. Then we have a quick quote. This quote means like it will give the amount how much it's going to get it. Save draft it for save. Version means nothing but if I click on this, PIN number, you can see, right? While for quick quote we haven't given the VIN number, but it's actually mandatory. So we just give some VIN number. Okay, and then I can do here side by side quote as well. Okay, so side by side quote is nothing but you can see here we have different versions like this. It will show me parallelly. Okay, so let's say the customer says and he tells the comparison. Okay, so what he'll do in this, he'll select like 10K. Here it will show some basic set of information like basic info, some net pay, UMBA. Like side by side, I can even compare. This is just another option that we have. Okay. Again, these things and all would be used by the underwriters. These things I'm covering just to make you aware, like, okay, fine, we do have these things within Policy Center, just for your information purpose. Okay. So let's say 10K I've selected. Here I've selected like 15K. Here I've selected like 20K or something. Okay. So based on that, I can even just do, and then let's say if I just select like rate all, okay, I can even compare like this one by one. It will show me here. This 10K would be like this much, 15K would be this much, 20K would be this much. Okay, and then I can select whichever version that I need. Okay, this is called a side-by-side version. If you have to select, this is called as multi-version. Okay. Anyways, like I'll just select this one. Let's say I need to, I'm okay with this, so I'll just select this. So just select this. So even you can select like this, whatever version, and then you can finally bind and issue the policy. That you can do it. Okay, that is called side-by-side quoting. You can even do quote side-by-side also. Okay, and then finally we have close options. We have different close options like withdraw, decline, not taken. So withdraw means nothing but let's say while creating a policy, some mistake has happened. Actually, he didn't want the person or he wanted some other policy. Okay, so at that time we can withdraw the transaction as well. If so, usually withdraw means some issue has happened by mistake. So that's what withdraw transaction. Okay, decline would be initiated by the underwriter. Let's say underwriter verifies. Okay, he sees, okay, fine, these are the things. Okay, this policy would be assigned to an underwriter, and underwriter sees, okay, fine, he has not done, he has a very bad history of payment. Okay, so we won't give a policy to him. Or let's say for a same policy, he went for a claim from multiple locations. Okay, so let's say some fraud activities. So after verification and all, if he finds some fraud activity, that's what decline. So decline would be initiated from the insurance company side. Okay, withdraw would be nothing but from the like adjuster or who is working upon the claim on the CSR side. And then not taken would be nothing but, let's say I got a quote and everything, and then I decided, okay, fine, I don't want the policy itself. Okay, so that's what not taken. Not taken would be initiated by the customers or the end users. Okay, let's say the account, let's say here Tony, he would be the one who will be deciding not taken. So all these are different close options. When we do close option, it would be predictable. Like for example, if I decline or not taken, so we need to give some reason for this. Again, these entries and all, we do have an option to change. These are all type list changes. We'll see that in the coming days how to make these changes and all. But yeah, that's what, these are different close options. We can finally bind and issue the policy. So that is how we can do the policy like this. You can see the policy here. Okay. You can see policies in force. When is the expiry date? It's a 6 months policy. So today is like what, like May, so 6 months to November. So like that, all these things you can see from here. Okay. So those are two different types of quote. Okay. So yeah, so these are few things that we have seen today. So to an overview. Okay. So first we have seen the Guidewire products. Okay, we have seen mainly like we have three applications. We have call center, claim center, billing center. Okay, so we were mainly talking from the call center perspective. Okay, create, modify, renew, everything we do in call center. So as we know now, we have a browser based, right? So it is through the browser is what I'm doing everything. Okay, so that's what the browser based. Okay, so now this policy can be created directly by the underwriter, or it can be created by the producer as well. And then that producer can assign the policy to some underwriter based on the location. So even that can be done. It's not like always the policy would be created by the underwriter. So even a producer can log in and create a policy. Okay. So that's how these values. Then we have seen today this one, submission transaction. Okay. So today we were mainly talking about submission transaction, how to create. Okay. So in the next session, so in tomorrow's session, we'll be talking in detail what is the change, renewal, cancellation, what is the reinstate, rewrite. We'll also talk about the database, how to, what is an entities, how using the studio. So all these are basically here. What is an extension, what is an entity, how to create an entity, how to modify an entity, how to add a new columns and all. There's some technical stuff we'll talk over here. What's some metadata, what's extension, all this stuff. Okay. And then we have seen like what is the product designer. So basically like on a high level, basically what this product designer does. Okay. Again, as I told, like we cover in detail like what each and every, how can I add a new coverage and all those things. But yeah, these are few data that will be coming from the product design. Then we have seen the technical side. So again, on a high level, we have seen what is the configuration and integration, right? So we have seen under configuration, what are various things that comes up, right? So these are different things. Then under integration, like what are the various topics that we are covering up? We have also seen that. And then we were talking about the application only, like how to log into the application. Okay, so this is how we log in. Now there are many other things as well. So let's say when I click on about, it will show me which version I'm working on. Okay, schema, all those things I can see it over here. So when you see in your case, it will show you version 8 and all. Okay. So you can test it from here, which version you are currently working. Okay, let's say someone asks like which version of application you are working. This is how you'll be checking this platform version. Okay. Internationalization means nothing but you can even switch all the labels to different languages. You can change to Australia, Canada, France, German, everything, all these labels that you're seeing, right? Everything can change the language. Let's say you log in from China, you don't know English, okay? You don't know what is this effective date or expiry date and everything. So even you can change all these labels into Chinese, okay, using localization. We'll talk about that later. Again, that's a concept called display key and all. We'll see that later. Okay, for now, that's what you can see, this languages and all, you can change it from here. Then preferences is nothing but again some basic username, password. You can see by default this you're logged into desktop page, right? You can even change to search. Okay. So let's say for example, if I update it, now if I log out and now if I log in again, we'll see a search page instead of desktop page. Search page. Okay. So even those things you can do up. Then settings means again you can change the theme, blue color, this one, all those basic themes, font size, everything you can change it from here. Again, usually we won't be changing this, we keep it to default. Then what? Reload means whenever we are making some UI changes, some PCF changes, we'll go here and reload. Again, I'll explain you at the later point what this reload does. See that later. To reload all the PCF elements. Okay, and finally we log out. Log out means login, log out. These are various things. Then we have seen how to create an account. We have seen how to create a policy. We have also seen like then we have seen how to what is the set of data that we will be entering. Before that, we have also seen how to set up the application. That also we have discussed. Then we have seen the policy creation. So today we were talking on the submission, this one, mainly on this part. The coming days will be checking on the later ones. And then these were different things that is being done in the sub. So qualifies means the question sets. We qualify the candidate. We can even do multiple quotes, and finally we issue the policy. These are different steps that we have seen. We have also seen what's the difference between quick quote and a full application quote. So these were different summary, overview, function module, technical module. We have seen an overview of the application, account creation, policy, quote, and other stuff. Okay. So is it clear? Any doubts, queries?
Hi, Arun. I have a doubt.
Yeah.
I have a doubt between like binding the policy and issuing the policy.
Okay.
Do we need to pay the premium as soon as we bind the policy, or is it like we need to issue the policy to pay the premium?
Yeah, it again depends on different insurance companies. Okay, some can just binding a policy, they don't have to pay premium once we issue it. These are all logical decisions that will be making by the insurance company. We can configure anything in the billing center. Okay, so here let me just show you here. We'll show you the difference. Let's say let's open up a submission. Okay, now you can see here. Let's say okay, let's create a new submission. We'll just quickly go here. Submission, new submission, compensation, it's not all. So I'm just quickly filling up all the data. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll bind only. Instead of issue, I'll click on only bind only. Okay, so are you sure to bind this one but hold issuance? Okay. So now you can see your policy number is being bound. Okay. So here you can see the transaction over here. Okay, all these details you can see it over here. Okay. Now what you will do is you can see you don't have an option to change. You don't see a policy change or you cannot renew a policy. Everything it's not there yet. The only step that we can do is issue the policy. Okay, issue in the sense the policy documents, the legal documents would be generated only once we issue the policy. Right now it's only binded. Okay, you can see over here. Now in order to issue, you can see here the current activities. We need to issue the policy. So only once I go here and issue the policy, that's where you can see the other details. You can make a policy change. All the documents will be generated only after that. It's kind of an intermediary stage. So you can see it's in force. Even if I click on bind only, the policy is still active. It's in force. Okay. Force, in force, premium, this one you can see it over here. Okay. All those things we can see. Then what I'll do in order to issue it, I'll just issue the policy and then I'll just do a quote. And finally, you can see issuance. And finally, I'll issue the policy. So that's where the policy is actually getting issued. Now you can see change, cancel, renew everything. So now it's legally active. Means even though in issuance also bound also it's legally active, but now the documents will be generated. Okay. So it's more of a sale. As I told, like most of the time, like some companies would even disable that bind option. Only we can issue it. That's no intermediate state. These are all the additional options or additional features that Policy Center out of the box gives up. Okay. Now it is up to us how to modify this or how to tweak this based on the requirement. Okay. So that's the idea.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes, moments. We have like 10 more minutes. Feel free to ask anything on today's topic. Again, we will be covering from the technical side from tomorrow onwards. I know like most of the topics, maybe like today's one you might be already heard or maybe familiar with somewhere. So these were the things. Any other doubts, queries? Yes, Mahesh, Prashant, Nitik, no? Vishal?
Any question, guys?
Okay. So I just wanted to check, like, do you want a break in between or something? Or like, maybe we can add like this last 10
I
minutes?
think, Arun, what we can do is after 55 minutes to an hour, let's take a coffee break or something because, of 5, 10
Sure.
minutes, I think it'll be good because we all are working virtually. So if we can grab a
Okay.
coffee,
Yeah, definitely. Even I can.
here and there, okay.
Yes.
So
We
even
can do
for
that.
okay, so we can do that. And I also want to speak to you about the instances. Will they be getting on the email the credentials for the instance?
Yeah, so maybe, let me just check with the team. Okay, so I'll just check with them and I'll update you on those scenarios, like how it would be shared and all. Okay. So it's like in their network, so maybe I need to check on that. So yeah, maybe like Abhilash would be talking to you on those details. Okay. We can just give up a ring to him.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So that would be the one. Yeah. Three routes. So, okay, so to give you an overview of tomorrow's session, so tomorrow we'll be looking mainly on the other transactions, like what is the policy change, what is the cancel, what's the renew, all those stuff. How can I do multiple policy change? What is the cancellation transaction set? How can I reinstate and rewrite a policy? Then how to create the database, okay? How to open up the entities, okay? How to create new tables, how to modify existing tables, okay? How can I view, like, what are the various databases that I can configure? We can see here by default it would be H2 database, but even we can connect to Oracle or SQL Server or all those stuff. Okay, and we'll also see how to connect to H2 database using a jar file. H2 jar file and then we can connect up. Okay, yeah, so some DB stuff, some few transactions and few DB stuff. Okay. These are the things that we'll be covering in the next session. Fine. Okay. So yeah, we don't have any more queries. Maybe I'll show you the recording after this. Even you can refer the recording and you can, so as a task, what you can do is by tomorrow, maybe you can just try to create an account and the policy. You can set it up this application also, so that from like tomorrow will be mainly working on the studio. So that once you set it up, it will be easy to parallelly work across. Okay? And then you can do up the task that we do tomorrow. So that can be done. Okay. So yeah, that case we can wind up for today.
Arun,
Then we can
sorry, Arun. Like we have a doubt. Like we need to download this version 10, or it's okay that we have already studios and UI as well. So
if you anything should be fine. Like even if you already have all the setup ready with you, you can even work with that as well. But anyways, like
we have the studios and we have this Java 1.7. I hope so, JD.
Because it's like version 8. That's why. But again, what I would recommend is it's better to switch to the latest version, so that means again at the end of the day, it's just a bit of a look and feel. It's different. The way that we are creating entities and all, it's almost the same. But yeah, it's recommended to, so that we can relate things, the one that I'm showing you. So that also we can do. But yeah, if you already have the setup, even that should be fine. You can both.
Can we get the version 10?
That's what. So maybe I'll just check with the team on that one, so that how will be shared the links and everything. So based on that, we can do that.
Like we have only one product under product designer thing. Arun, we have only workers' compensation on the products in product designer.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, in my version 8, I have like almost all the products. Maybe they have removed it or something. So is it an out of the box OTB one?
No. So Arun, that's actually the code base. We were actually working with the on a project. So definitely, people, you will be getting to work on their designated servers. Okay.
Okay.
So everyone will be getting an instance, guys. Don't worry with the latest one, and you will always have a latest access. So don't worry about that. We'll get you that access.
Okay. So yeah, in that case, maybe we can wind up for today, and we can meet tomorrow at the same time. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you all. Thank you all for your time. Okay. Maybe you can even get the questions if you have for today's. For tomorrow, we can even discuss that.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So thank you for your time, and we can wind up.
Thank you.
Thank you all.